don't need too many kitchen gadgets for this. You just need your stovetop, a pan with a lid, a cutting board, a spatula, a measuring cup, a bowl to do your marinated chicken, a couple tablespoons, and a sharp knife. Okay, so your main ingredients for this are going to be chicken. I prefer using chicken thighs because they're juicier, but you can go with chicken breasts. You want broccoli. If you want to do it the easy way, which I like to do, get the florlets. You could also get a head of broccoli and chop it up. I'm doing optional pepper strips and bamboo, but you can do it just straight chicken and broccoli. That's perfectly fine too. I just wanted to throw some extra color in there. So you're going to want to have basically a 1-to-1 ratio of how much broccoli to how much chicken. So as you can see, the bag size and the thigh size, about the same. So you should have a nice even distribution. So that's the main ones. And then for the sauce, all you'll need is a sweet white wine of some sort. We go with sherry, minced garlic, cornstarch, and soy sauce. I go with the low sodium, but you can use the regular, that's fine. Now for the sauce that you're going to marinate the chicken in, what you're going to do is you're going to take your wine, you're going to pour out the 1/4 of the cup. Then you're going to take your soy sauce, do the same with that. There you go. Now keep the soy sauce because you're going to need to do that for a little splush later. You're going to need the measuring cup too, so don't throw that into the sink quite yet. Then you're going to take one of these tablespoons. It doesn't need to be an exact tablespoon. So just nice rounded tablespoon of garlic. Straight into there. Then you're taking your cornstarch. And this one you want flattened. So go ahead and scrape it against the side when you pull it out like that. Put that in there. Stir it around. Make sure you break up all the clumps. I know it gets a little hard to tell what's the garlic clump and what's the cornstarch, but if you just stir it for a little while, it'll smooth out and you can tell the big white blobs that go explodey boom, those are the cornstarch. So once that's all taken care of, you're going to set this aside and we're going to work on the chicken. Okay, so we're going to process the chicken. So when you're doing boneless thighs, note that it's kind of in 2 pieces. So what I like to do is I like to cut it like that. And if you're not used to cooking meat, you know, this is one of the first times you've been trying, I think that a stir fry is a good way to start because you do small pieces and the small pieces make it so you get a good feel for the texture of the meat, how long it takes to cook. It cooks faster, it cooks more evenly. So you're just going to keep going and making these little thin strips, about yay big. You're going to go through, now I'm doing all 3 thighs tonight, but it depends on you, how much you want at any one time. Always good to have leftovers. So after you finish the one, go ahead and throw it in the bowl there, because we're going to be marinating the chicken. So you process the other side the same way. And this is why you want a sharp knife, because it is so nice to not have to hack through. So once you have all of that taken care of, we're going to throw it into the bowl and we're going to add that sauce that we made earlier. Okay, now that the chicken's all nice and processed, you see the pretty small pieces, so it should cook pretty quickly. We're going to take the marinade and we're going to put that in. It's probably separated by this time, so just give it a stir. Make sure you get all that cornstarch off the bottom. And then we're going to pour it in. Now we're still going to need the measuring cup, so just set that aside. Don't throw that in the sink yet. So now that it's in here, just mix it all up so everything gets nice and coated. And we're going to let this sit for about 10 minutes, giving it a stir after 5. So now that the chicken is marinating, we're going to start working on the broccoli. So what you're going to do is you're going to rinse it off and you're going to put it into your pan with a little bit of water at the bottom. This is going to be for steaming it. You're going to put it on a medium heat. Once it starts simmering like this, you get the little bubbles, you're going to take it and you're going to move it down from 5 to 2. You're going to put the lid on it, and you're just going to let that sit for 5 minutes as it steams, and then you're going to check it, and you're going to see if you want it steamed anymore. It's going to depend on exactly how soft you want the broccoli. Broccoli steamed, you can do one of two things. You can drain it, but that can be a little dangerous, but what you would do is move the lid just slightly to the side, pour it over the sink, or if you have a slotted spatula or slotted spoon, grab it, take it out, put it on a plate. You're going to set that aside and you're going to work on the chicken. Now it is time to do the chicken, and I completely forgot an ingredient, olive oil. So, olive oil. So what you're going to do is you're going to take some of the olive oil and you're just going to do a light coating at the bottom of the pan, which is still warm from cooking the vegetables. And then if you want, you can also add a little itty bitty bit of sesame oil, because it is very powerful, but it gives a nice extra little flavor to it. But yeah, only a couple drops. Come on. Okay, and then you're going to take the heat and you're going to go from 2 up until there, and you're going to move the oil around to evenly coat the bottom. Sorry about the camera work on that one. Okay, once you got that done, you're going to put the chicken in. So give it one more stir in the marinade. Just want to mix it all up one last time. Then you're going to take it and then straight in there. And then move it around to coat the entire bottom. Sorry, the camera work on this section is not going to be as great, guys, but it's my first time. I'll try to do better. Okay, now that the chicken's been going for a while, you can start moving it around. You'll see it's got some nice brownie bits coming through. So the thing with stir fries, you got to keep it moving. You don't want it to be in one spot too long. So you want to just keep moving it around, flipping. You can also do one of these, just get it nice and tossed. And you're going to do this for 5 to 10 minutes. And you're just going to keep it on that heat for that time. You don't have to move it constantly, but you know, you want to flip it over. So if you see bits like this, there's still that pinky color, just flip that over. So you're cooking the other side. And you're just going to keep doing this process for a little while. And then when it gets closer to being ready, you'll be able to tell. And while you're having the chicken doing its thing in the background there, this is when you bring out the measuring cup again. And what you're going to do is you're going to fill a half a cup with water, and then you're going to take your soy sauce and just a little splush, not too much. Now, this part, you get 2 options that you can add. If you want your sauce to be thicker when it's done cooking, you can add another tablespoon of the cornstarch. And if you want it more garlicky, which I do, you can add another tablespoon of the garlic. So I'm going to do that right now. And then you're going to set it aside. There goes the garlic. Give it a stir. And I know you guys might have thought that I forgot the bell peppers. I did not, because they were frozen. They're already going to be soft. So they're going to go in when the chicken's almost done, just to defrost right before we throw in the rest of the vegetables and mix everything up.
I'm sorry, I have to have a little ASMR here. I just love this sound.
After about 5 to 6 minutes, you should be getting closer to it being cooked. You see there's very few pieces that are still that pinky color. What we're going to do now, because we don't want to burn it, because it's very easy to burn at this stage, is we're going to take the temperature and we're going to come down to about 4. And then we're going to just keep moving it around for another 2-3 minutes until you don't see too many of those light spots. But do remember that thigh meat is a darker meat. So what we're going to do once we think everything's cooked is we're going to take a couple of the pieces and we're going to just chop through them like this. And then we're going to look at the inside. and see if the inside is the same color as the outside, which that one is. So we're getting close. We are pretty much done now. We are going to do another quick check. Let's just give it another stir. Make sure you don't see any of those bits. And then try to find one of your bigger pieces. And this is why I said cut it small, because the smaller it is, the faster it cooks and the more evenly it cooks. Now this one's decent sized. So that's going to be a good gauge, because if this one's done, they should all be done. And yes, that's done. Okay, so what we're going to do now is, if you're taking the options of putting in the vegetable or the pepper strips, this is where you're going to do it. It's up to you how much you want to put in, how many vegetables to chicken, that's all up to you. So just sprinkle some of that in. Move that around. You're going to lower your temperature even more at this point. I know that doesn't seem like the right thing to do since you just added frozen stuff, but we don't want to take any chance of burning anything. So since everything now is just a heat up thing, we're going to move it back down to 2. Okay, now that that's in, you're going to take your vegetables and you're going to put that back in. So you have that in there, and now you're taking the sauce that we made, giving it one more little stir, get everything all nice and mixed up in there. Going to go over the top, just move the stuff around, and you're going to get everything nice and coated and dispersed. So one technique you can use is getting under here and then flipping, pushing like that, getting under there and flipping again. And you're just going to do this until everything's nice and coated. Now, if you did add another thing of cornstarch when you did the other sauce, you're going to wait for it to heat up, because that's going to thicken the sauce. Now, we do have the cornstarch in there from the first batch, so that's going to help. So we're going to just let this all come together for maybe a minute and a half, 2 minutes, just so the sauce can thicken up and all the flavors can meld into everything. So now we're just going to have to worry about plating. And I got to tell you, I did make a tiny cheat. We're done. We're going to do the plating, and this is where I cheated. Guys, I actually went and I bought rice. I know, I should have made it, but you know, it's fine, because that means tomorrow I get to make fried rice and do another one of these videos. So I've already put the rice on the plate. You just take your stir fry, get a nice heaping helping here. Now you can put it on the rice, you can put it next to the rice, however you want to do it. And then what you want to do is take a little bit of the extra gravy, just pour it over the rice. And then if you're trying to be fancy, you would take a paper towel and wipe it down. But I think that's good. What do you think?